Norway. One of those 3 Scandinavian countries. But which one is it? Well, after today, you're never going to forget how to tell which one is Norway. It's easy. Norway is the country that goes the farthest north. Norway, north. There, it's ingrained in your head forever now. But just how far north does Norway go? Well, you see these islands all the way up here? The region is called Svalbard, and it's part of Norway too. In fact, it's one of the world's northernmost inhabited areas. And boy is it up there. Now that you'll always remember which country Norway is, you might be wondering how you can remember Sweden and Finland too. Well, you know what I have to say to that? Faen those blokes, they can go to helvete. That's right, I'm going to teach you how to swear in Norwegian. Their most common swear word is faen. It literally means devil, but it's more equivalent to the F-bomb or damn. As for helvete, yeah, that one's pretty easy to understand. Faen, helvete. Have fun with those, Matt. Now, Epcot used to have a Norwegian-themed ride. Unfortunately, it's been replaced by a Frozen ride. But luckily, everything still exists on the internet. All aboard!
Those who seek the spirit of Norway face peril and adventure. But more often, find beauty and charm. Who see Norway's spirit veil in a land of forests and mystery, where trolls still prowl the water's edge.
How dare you come here? Invaders! Stop! This is troll country! Get away! Be gone! I'll cast the spell. Yes! Yes! You disappear! 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 Back! Back! Over the pond!
Before recorded time, Norway's spirit roamed the seas of the far north and beyond. Still thunders in her grave fjords. Spirit has always been, will always be adventure.
Hope you enjoyed the ride. Although, before we move on to our next subject, there is one last thing I want to mention about the Maelstrom. Did you notice how different trolls kept popping up again and again? Well, you might think that they're just some make-believe from folktales. But then again, you don't live in Norway. It's quite possible they actually exist there. But don't just take it from me. The Norwegian Prime Minister admitted it. And yes, this is a real press conference from the real Prime Minister of Norway.
Vi ønsker minst mulig inngrep I norsk natur. Jeg tror det I hvert fall hyggelig for mennesker I Norge som synes at kraftledninger pene. Jeg synes ikke det. I Norge vi jo, men I Norge det sånn at vi for strøm, men vi mot strømledninger. Og det går ikke lenge. Norge troll, sånn at det kommer til å være behov for flere strømledninger I Norge. Og sånn det. Ja, da runder vi av der.
That's right, trolls are real, people. Hashtag trolltruther, hashtag tell us the truth about trolls. You can't talk about Norway without mentioning the Vikings, so I'll mention them now. The Vikings! Okay, there we go. See, you probably already know a lot about the Vikings, so I'm going to move on to a subject that you might not know as much about. The late 1930s saw the outset of a terrible world war as German Nazis put a stranglehold on Europe. Any territory on this map that's in black or gray was controlled by Germany at the height of their power. And as you can see, Since I know you know which country it is now, Norway fell to the Nazis in 1940. We all know how the war played out, but things could have been drastically different if one small thing had been different. If Hitler had developed an atomic bomb. About 100 miles west of Oslo is a heavy water plant in Denmark, Norway. Heavy water was the key ingredient in the German atomic bomb research program. They needed heavy water to create a nuclear reactor, which was the stepping stone to producing plutonium and then an atomic bomb. And at the time, this was the only plant in the world that produced heavy water. The Allies did not know how far along the Germans were in their atomic bomb research, but they knew the Nazis were very concentrated on heavy water. So in the middle of the night in 1942, 9 saboteurs scaled a cliff in the middle of the night to blow up the plant. The entire thing was planned by Leif Tronstad, a Norwegian professor who worked at the plant. After the Nazis occupied Norway, he escaped to England and convinced others of the mission's importance from there. He had wanted to participate in the mission himself, but was stopped by his commanders who regarded him as inexpendable. Interested in learning more? There's a 6-episode TV miniseries on it called The Heavy Water War, and it's free on Amazon. And one last thing. On behalf of all Norwegians everywhere, you're welcome. Did you know that the setting for Disney's Frozen was based on Norway? In fact, this is the fishing village that the kingdom was based on. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, now here are my kids acting out a scene from Frozen.
There's a voice. I need to follow it. Every day a little hurdle. I feel my power grow. Don't you know you hold me? Love to die. The questions without answers still make me itchy.
And we'll wrap things up by seeing what happens when you ask kids things about Norway. We'll start with the 5-year-old. Yep.
Everyone lived in the Norway who don't know, and who lived who don't know, and Norway have now.
What can you do in snow?
Play.
What kind of games?
No
What else can you tell me about Norway?
We got flag there.
Ooh, what colors are the flag?
Yellow, blue, green, red, and black.
All of those colors are on the Norway flag?
On some, but not all the flag, but those are all the top they all.
And now, the 2-year-old. Kenzie, what can we do in snow?
Dada. What do we say?
I don't know. Kenzie, does Marshall live in Norway?
No, he doesn't.
Kenzie, what's the capital of Norway? Kenzie, what's the capital of Norway? All right. How, Kenzie, who won the first Nobel Peace Prize from Norway?
Rudy.
Who? And thus ends the question and answer portion of our presentation. So let's raise our glasses and give a toast to Norway, the greatest country in Scandinavia, if not the world.